Hey, so I just did a launch this past week, and I thought it'd give me a chance to talk about the difference between internal launches and JV launches. And because it's a big difference between these two. Of course, I teach all kinds of launches, but this is like one sort of dichotomy. There's these two big different styles, the internal and the JV. So an internal launch is you are promoting just to your list and your following. So you're mailing to your email list and you're promoting to your social people. And paid traffic is a whole nother discussion. So we're not even going to talk about paid right now, but in a typical internal launch, you would probably be doing some paid traffic as well, at least to your warm audience, the people that are already following you. So in other words, in an internal launch, you're mailing your list, you're posting on social, telling people about it on social, but you would probably also be advertising to those same people. And that's very easy to do on today's platforms. So in any case, internal launch, you're promoting just the people who already know about you, who already follow you, who already subscribe to you. A joint venture launch, on the other hand, or a JV launch or an affiliate launch, you can use those phrases interchangeably, but for here I'll just say JV because JV is easy. Again, JV, joint venture, or affiliate. And this is where you will have an affiliate partner or a joint venture partner who will tell their followers about your launch in exchange for commissions if those people buy from you. So, if Jane or Bob or Sue or Frank mail and they say, hey, go check out Jeff's masterclass. It's really fantastic. It's awesome. Go check it out. And if their people come through, click through, opt into the launch, watch the launch, and then eventually once I make the offer, if they end up buying, then I have software that will automatically track where that lead came from. Did it come from Frank or Sue or Billy or Ann or whatever? It will track where that person came from, and then I will pay them a commission after I make the sales. So this is, on a JV launch is a fantastic thing to do. I've done really well with them. That's really how I've built my business, through joint venture launches and people telling, hey, go check out Jeff's stuff. It's really cool. They come in, I give them a good experience. I train, I teach, then I make an offer. Then I've got an offer that converts. People love to promote for me because I have an offer that converts. And so then I end up sending back a lot of commissions to people. They love that. It all works really, really well. It's also a great way to build your list. I regularly, usually once a year for the last about 10 years, once a year I've done a joint venture launch. And when I do that, I'll typically add 40,000 to 50,000 new people onto my email list. And then, subsequently a bunch of them will buy, and I'll pay a lot of commission to my partners. So my partners, it works for both of us. So regularly 40 to 50,000 new leads in a matter of like a week or 10 days. I did one launch that had 90,000 new leads in the matter of about a week. It's absolutely extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary. So you're like, well, why wouldn't you always do a JV launch? And the reason, there's a few reasons. First of all, it's a lot more complicated. That once you start working with partners, then your life just gets more complex. It's like if doing an internal launch, if the effort is X, that for those who are algebra minded, if the effort is X for an internal launch, the effort for a JV launch is 2X. It's twice as much work to be able to manage partners and manage the communications with them and take care of, there's a devil in the details. There's a lot going on behind the scenes in a JV launch. So I love them. They've built my business, but they're a lot of work. They're also riskier because your relationships with your partners are really important relationships. And you don't want them to just promote for you once. You want to promote for them to promote for you year after year after year. And that's what I've done. I have partners that have been promoting for me I have one partner that's been promoting for over 10 years now. and many, many, many more that I've been promoting for over 5 years. And the reason they keep on promoting is because it works out really well. They send their people over to me. They know I'm going to take care of them. I'm going to treat those, whether they buy or not, I'm going to treat them really well. I'm going to give them great content. And then in the end, my offer will end up converting. I've got this offer that people love. They love buying Product Launch Formula because it gets them results. So it converts really well. So having a high converting offer is one of the keys to a joint venture partnership. So I've got these, long-standing relationships with partners, but to have that long-standing relationship, you have to take care of them. You have to take care of the partner. You have to take care of the partner's people that they send over to you. You have to make sure you pay them and you pay them on time, that you've got an offer that converts, that you have an offer that when those people buy, they're going to be proud to send their people to you. That's the bottom line. You want to have a launch process, and you want to have a product that people are proud to tell their followers about. So that's super critical. Now, one of the things that I preach is you shouldn't, and this rule has been broken by people, including myself at times, but you don't want to test a launch as a JV launch. You want to test it as an internal launch. You want to do it to your list, no matter how big or small, and test it to make sure it works and it converts before you offer it as a joint venture launch. You don't ever want to test an offer on your partner's lists. You want to be the sacrificial lamb. If you have something that you're not sure if it converts or not, you want to be the one that tests that on your list. Because then if it fails, then you're the one that's hurt, not your partner. If you ask a partner to mail and they mail and it doesn't convert and it's allowed, they're not going to mail again, especially if it's early in the relationship. For me, if I'm 5 or 10 years into a relationship and I screw up something, they're probably going to give me a second chance. But for most partnerships, when you're starting out, you want to make sure it converts. So you want to do that internal launch first. So a lot of times people hear me talk about the JV launch and they're like, that sounds amazing. That's like, this idea, I like to say it's like pouring gasoline on a fire. If you have a nice little fire going with your internal launch and it's working, and then you pour gasoline or if you're outside the US, petrol on top of it, it's just going to blow up in a big way. And that's what internal launches do. You might have an internal launch that does $10,000, $12,000, $14,000, and you do it as a JV launch and line up some good partners, and it might be $100,000 or $200,000. Or you might have a launch that does $100,000 or $200,000 or $300,000, and then you get some good partners on board, and that's how you get up into those $1 million launches. So they're great, but it's not the place to start. You start with the internal launch and test your offer, test your launch content, test your systems. And so I think I started this video, I think I said it, it's been a long time now, but at the beginning, I think I just said, I just did this launch, just this past week, just closed down the cart a couple days ago. And it was an internal launch. And it's not like I know the offer converts, I know it crushes, but I had a few things I wanted to test. And so I did this internal launch and I added in different pieces to test them. There are pieces in the open cart. There are pieces with bringing some of my team members front and center. There are process pieces. And frankly, as I record this, we're still digging into the numbers. I don't know how well these tests worked, but they either worked or they didn't work, or maybe they did or didn't, or who knows? We're gonna see. I have a feeling that some of them really worked well, and then these little pieces are going to end up showing up in our launch, in our big joint venture launch, which is going to be in November. So just this idea of JV launches are amazing. They are a lot of work. But internal launches are just as critical. Even after you've sort of stepped up into the big leagues and you can be doing JV launches, you still don't want to be testing on your JVs. You don't want to be testing on their list. You don't want to risk those relationships because those are literally the most valuable relationships you'll have in your business. So yeah, always be testing stuff. I've been launching stuff for 25 years. I've been teaching my product launch formula for over 15 years. This offer I made this past week is an offer I've made over and over again over the years, but I'm always testing stuff. And the market's always evolving, the technology's always evolving, and I always will be testing stuff just so I can stay ahead of the market, ahead of my clients, so I can teach my clients, and so that when we get time for the big JV launch this fall, I'm just going to have a fantastic launch. So that's what I've got for you. That's a little on the difference between internal launches and JV launches, how to think about the differences between them, how to think about when to go from one to the other, and how to keep on testing with your internal launches. If you wanted to be a partner for us, we have a fairly restricted affiliate program, joint venture partner program. But if you drop a comment down in the comments and let me know, then we might be able to get you hooked up for this fall when we do our big joint venture launch. So that's what I've got. Joint venture launches, absolutely awesome, amazing, like pouring gasoline on a fire, but not the tool to use all the time, not the tool to use in your first launch. I'm Jeff Walker. Wherever you're watching this, scroll down, leave a comment for me, and let's go get them this week.